Hi everyone, it's Todd Liles. I'm here with Service Excellence Training. And I know that for a lot of you, this time of year is a little bit slower for you, and it becomes important that you rely very heavily on your preventative maintenance agreements or your advertised tune-ups. So what I want to do, whether you're in air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, whatever the trade may be, I want to talk to you about how do you increase your average ticket when you go on a service call and things are not quote unquote broken, which is really common when it comes to inspections. Now, to get to this, I do want to show you something. I want to talk about the mindset of the client as well as the mindset of the technician as well. And we're going to take a look at what I refer to in terms of the mindset dealing with the client, the items that they see as being important, and important is going to go up here, all right? I'm just going to abbreviate that. And then the items that they see as not important, and not important is going to go down here. We're going to just abbreviate the important there as well. So for a lot of clients, I think we could all say that if it's broke, it's automatically important to them. They typically want those things to be fixed. If it's not broke, well, I can't say it's not important to them. It's just that it's not even in their mindset. So sometimes the things that are not important are really more of a, not thought of, if you will. So not thought of. So therefore, because I'm not thinking of it, it's not important to me at that moment. I'm going to show you another line, and I'm going to use a red marker to highlight this one. And on this line over here, just going to separate it by the following. What we end up having in this scenario is we end up having, in essence, the question of what is urgent or what is not urgent. So if we want to look at it like that, over here we have important, and I'm going to go ahead and put a slash urgent. And again, those items that are broke, they fall right into that category. Down here we have not important, but slash urgent. Very few things that you offer as a service provider are going to fall into not important and yet urgent, right? Now you may have some things that they think interrupts their day, like a phone call from your office. Urgent is something that grabs their attention, whether they think it's important or not. But for the most part, this isn't really where we participate. But what we do end up having a large participation in things would be things that are important, okay, but they're not at all urgent to the client. They're not thinking about it. Now, I tend to think of this area as the area of planning, right? So the area of planning would reference those items like safety devices. So if you have a safety device that if we plan, we prevent damage, whether from a flood or some other situation, that takes a little forethought. So safety devices go into this front. Things that are not yet broken, but they're getting outside of their normal range of operation, and we know that in some short period of time they probably are going to fail. They're still important, they're just not urgent yet to the client. We can also put things like energy consumption in here as well. So important yet not urgent, and down here in the bottom we have not important and not urgent, and really, this quadrant, no one should be really wasting their time in at all. So usually what happens, so I'm just going to erase the bottom here, we're going to focus on the top. Usually what happens inside of an inspection is that technicians will discover things that are very important, but yet they're not quite sure or either capable of doing what I refer to as quadrant conversion. And quadrant conversion is, in essence, being able to take what's in this quadrant and moving it over here. And really the only thing that you're moving is a sense of urgency, and that's it. Because it's already important. It's just that the client doesn't realize the level of importance, and that because it's sitting there, quote unquote, working, doesn't mean that it's actually working. It could be very much failed or very much unsafe, and they're just not really sure of that because they don't have previous experience. So there's a couple things that you need to get good at. And the things that you need to get good at to create quadrant conversion end up being things along the lines of the following. One is that you need to get really good at sharing real experiences that you know have occurred via folks that have either taken advantage of this or have not, right? So the experience, the testimony, if you will, of someone who has, suffered some damage, real damage that's really happened, and you know because maybe they're a client, maybe they didn't accept the recommendation, there was a consequence of that, and they gave you permission to share that story so other people wouldn't go through that same pain. Well, the reality of it is there's value there. And that creates a sense of urgency to take care of it now. So the other one is to create the possibilities. And of course, always when you're doing this, I have to stress that the truth is always connecting on this line. We never leave truth out of this equation. We don't exaggerate. We don't lie. I know none of you guys would do that, but I still stress it because I think it needs to be said every single time. Last thing I want are for my words, especially as I'm putting them out here in a public forum, to get twisted or manipulated and the truth about my belief system not be held. So the truth is always very important, and your experience will create what you know could be potential outcomes. It's just reality sets that in. Perfect example. Right now there's several things that are taking place in the last 2 weeks that really fall in this quadrant for us. One, the wife and I have decided to add 10 crepe myrtle trees in the backyard. We want to do that. We want to do that for our child today. We want to do that for our future children. We know they will grow and they will be a beautiful place for our kids to play and enjoy the shade. That's not urgent. I think it's important because I think it makes the place beautiful, but it's going to take a couple years for that to develop. All right, let's move on. Right now in my attic, I have a tankless water heater going in, which is super cool. I'm excited about that. My water heater is 8 years old, although the house is 6 years in operation. So you know how that goes. Heaters go in there a little bit older. So you could say it's got 6 years of use on it. Reality is I could probably get a little bit more time out of it, but there's been some signs that just let me know based off my experience, hey, it's probably time to go. So I've chose to use one of our plumbers that does business with us to put in a tankless. I'm looking forward to that and knowing that that peace of mind is taken care of. Lastly, in this example, just replaced all the tires last week on the family van. Radials were not shown, but there was wear on it. And the last thing I want is for my wife and her little baby to get stuck somewhere. So for me, it's about knowing that there is a reality to the possibility and being wise enough to make that choice. For a lot of your clients, you have to bring them to seeing the reality of that, and you have to take what is important, and you know it's important, and put some truth on it so that some urgency gets built up, and what you will end up having when you do that is greater conversion, because this is the quadrant of important and urgent where people buy. It's a very easy decision to buy there, because even this really will not have much action until we begin to understand the level of importance in it. But it's this quadrant over here that all areas of our life, whether we're increasing our average ticket, or exercising because we understand the benefits of that, or spending time with our family, it's in this area where I really believe is the greatest growth that you'll ever receive. So that is it for today. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want you to comment and share it. There are a lot of contractors that could use this, a lot of technicians out there that could benefit from this as well. Hey, by the way, if you haven't yet downloaded our 6 Keys to Success in Today's Marketplace, it's totally free. You can get it right there on the home site. Put your name in, put your email, and you will get that download for free, as well as you'll get all the updates that are available, including updates like this at Service Excellence Training, which is serveextra.com. Until I talk to you again, go turn that learning into some earning.